Every crisis is an opportunity. During 2008, homeowners or people who bought homes during that time period became millionaires in the following decade. During the 2020 COVID crisis, people who own assets, including housing, stocks, crypto, became 10 times, 20 times, 100 times richer than they were before. In this video, I'm going to go over the opportunity in the housing market right now in this high interest rate crisis, that if you want to become a homeowner in 2023 and 2024, this is the best and probably the only way for you to get into the market. And that is to buy new construction home in your area. Not just any type of new construction home, it has to be this specific type of new construction home, which I'll cover in this video. I'm gonna break down what's happening behind the scenes for the home builders right now, and they are really hurting, and how you can utilize this amazing opportunity to get into your next home here in 2023 and 2024. If this is your first time here, my name is Soyam Zhang. I'm a realtor here in Austin. I love doing food review in the area and talk about all things real estate. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate you. Now, we all know currently interest rates are high, and that's what I call the high interest rate crisis. It's causing the economy to slow down. That's exactly what the Federal Reserve wants, to combat inflation by slowing down the economy. Typically, there's what we call the risk-free rate, which is issued by the US government to guarantee a return to the debt holders. And the mortgage rate sits on average 1.8% above the risk-free rate. Right now, the risk-free rate is around 4.8 to 5%. So in theory, the mortgage rate should be around 6.8%. However, the people are expecting the Federal Reserve will hike rate at least one more time. So the current mortgage rate is sitting actually around 7.5 to 8%, which is a lot higher than the 6.8% if we were going to the average 1.8% gap. And this really priced out a lot of home buyers because they cannot afford an 8% mortgage under the current environment. Now, nobody knows when the Federal Reserve is going to stop hiking rates, whether they're going to lower rate in the future, whether that's going to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, that's unpredictable. So what I do see is that people will get accustomed to the high interest rate environment and find ways to invest and find ways to get into their next home. Now that you have some background information, we can now go over how that interest rate environment is affecting home builders right now, from big chains like KB Homes, Toll Brothers, to smaller local builders like Verde Homes here in the Austin area. Here is an example to help you understand what's happening behind the scenes for the home builders. When home builders want to start a housing subdivision of, let's say, 300 houses, the process they go through is they go acquire land, they go hire contractors, they go hire people, they go order the materials, and they start constructing, and then eventually they will sell the house. Let's say the project like this costs $100 million. Guess what? Typically, home builders don't have that much money laying around. Or they do have that much money laying around, but they want to be more efficient with their capital. So what they do is that they reach out to their connections at the banks and say, hey, Mr. Banker, can I borrow $100 million? And the banks, typically multiple banks group together to fund a project like this to diversify their risks. The bank says, okay, sure, we'll lend you the $100 million, but you have to pay us back some interest and principal. Now, once the money is loaned from the bank to the builders will not immediately making payments to the bank because they need to use the money to hire people, to buy land, get permits, to order materials to construct the home. And only after they construct the home and sell the home will they acquire money back to pay back the bank. And the bank understand that. So in order for them to loan out this money to the builders, they charge them at a higher interest rate. Then the builder and the bank do their projections. They work together to come to a settlement date sometime in the future. And the banks, in order to protect themselves, will say, if by settlement date you haven't paid us back, you'll incur even higher interest at a higher rate because you didn't meet or fulfill your agreement. And the builders will agree to that because for them, they want to move the home as soon as possible, from breaking ground to finish constructing the home to selling the home. Usually, they will set up this projection based on turnover rate in the market, based on month of inventory, based on construction time, to come up with a date that the builders themselves feel confident of and something that the banks also agree on. Now, in this whole process, the builder is only in control of things like buying the land, start constructing the home, hiring people. That's the things that they have control of. And the final part, which is selling the home to the consumer, to the end users, to the home buyers, that part is harder to predict, especially when they were first breaking ground. The interest rate were around 3%, 4%. Now we're sitting at 8% due to the historical pace that we hiked interest rate. So that means that their projections could be way off on when they think they can receive all of the money back plus their profit in order to pay back the loan to the banks. And now let's go back to our example. The builders borrowed $100 million. They expect to profit $50 million and basically sell everything in the community for $150 million. Then they can use the $150 million to pay back the $100 million loan plus interest, hopefully by the settlement date that the bank and the builders agree upon. But now, as we mentioned before, the buyers are sitting on the sideline due to this high interest rate crisis, and the builders' projections on how fast they can sell the home actually just became irrelevant due to this high interest rate environment that we're in. And normally they would try to negotiate with the banks and say, hey, bank, Mr. Bank, please, it's kind of hard to move the homes right now. Can we come up with like a different settlement date where we have to pay everything back to you? In other times, the banks might be more lenient and they want to maintain that relationship with the builders. However, a lot of small and medium-sized banks are also suffering right now. For example, First Republic Bank that you might have heard of in the news went bankrupt just a couple months ago. So it's unlikely that there's sort of compromise happening there. Now, I don't know the exact settlement dates that the builders have with their banks, but it's reasonable to think that the settlement date has either already passed for a lot of builders out there, or it's just around the corner, since most building cycle takes 5 months to a year. So if you follow me this far, you should see that this is where opportunity presents itself. We have a very motivated seller because they are incurring heavy carrying costs every single day their home sits on the market, because they borrow money to build this home that now they cannot sell. And now we have the buyers who have control and leverage in this negotiation to come up with a price that's fair to the buyer in order to take advantage of this amazing opportunity. The builders, they are hurting. They have high carrying costs every single day, incurring high interest. Sooner or later, all that $50 million profit that they could have potentially have might have turned into losses if they don't move those homes fast. So what I've been seeing is that builders are now offering heavy concessions, including rate buy down. Here in the Austin area, I spoke to a builder who's willing to buy down rates that's sitting at 8% to 5.8% for the new buyers who are coming in looking at homes. On top of that, they might be offering some discount pricing and seller credit in order for the buyers to have more customizations. Basically everything to make the buyer happy and want to buy the home as soon as possible. And the builders have to do it because they worry that if they don't sell the homes today, there will be even more homes being built, more homes, including resale home, that becomes supply into the market, creates even more competition, and then in turns that their homes had to sit on the market longer and their profits turn into losses. Now, one thing to know here is that this scenario only applies to inventory home, which are homes the builders already built or is very close to completion, because these are the homes that going through that time crunch of having even higher interest for the builders. If you want to start on a new customized home that they're breaking ground today, the builders don't have that much time crunch. And if you're looking to buy your new construction home here in the Austin area, I have great connections with the builders here, including KB Homes, Taylor Morrison, Toll Brothers, to even smaller home builders like Verde Homes. I have access to their latest and best incentives. Those informations are not public anywhere, so be sure to shoot me a text, write me an email, let's get connected so I can help you find your next home here in Austin area. And if you're not in the Austin area but still want to get into new construction home in your area, reach out to me. I can make a referral to a trusted realtor in your area so you can also take advantage of this amazing opportunity. Now we're going to compare buying an inventory home with resale homes, which are homes that people have lived in, have bought previously. First, people who bought home previously probably get into the home with 2%, 3% mortgage rate, or they refinance into those low mortgage rate and have low monthly payment. So they're not really going through a ton crunch, meaning that they're not as motivated to sell their homes. So second, that means that they are not as willing to make concessions unless they really have to get rid of their home for whatever reason. Now, it's not to say there's no opportunity in that market. I have seen sellers who are willing to buy down the interest rate for the buyers as well, using the extra equity that they have in their existing home. But as I mentioned before, they are probably not as motivated as the home builders right now because they don't really have that super high carrying cost that they have to take care of. So with all these considerations, it just makes sense to buy new construction inventory home in 2023 and 2024 during this high interest rate crisis. Finally, we're going to talk about how you can get into a new construction home in 2023 and 2024. Now, this is going to be a very quick overview, but if you want a detailed step-by-step video on how to buy your new construction home, be sure to comment new build in the comment below and I will send you a link to a video walking you through step by step. Step number 1, be sure you're working with a realtor before you start communicating with the builder. Because a lot of builders out there, once you start talking to them without a realtor representing you, they will not let the realtor come in later on to protect your best interests. The sales reps at the sales office represent their company and protect their company's best interests. So if there's any shady work that you didn't notice, or if there's any sort of negotiations that you cannot work through, if you don't have a realtor working with you, you will not be protected. So definitely remember to bring your realtor before you start looking at new construction homes. Second is to secure financing. Be sure to talk to a local loan officer so you can understand exactly what your budget is. It's ideal that before you start shopping for homes, you should have a pre-approved letter to tell you exactly the range of the budget that you can work with and let your realtor know so they can help you find the best property for you. But now, remember the incentives that I talked about, including those rate buy down? A lot of the home builders require that you work with their preferred lenders. Usually it's their sister company and their title company. So please keep that in mind and consult your realtor. Third is actually go out and take a look at the homes. You want to be sure the homes that you're looking at is in a location that you like, in a neighborhood that you like, and has the floor plan that fits your family need. And fourth is to sign the contract. Be sure to work with the realtor so we can help guide you through this process so you can know that your interest is protected. And fifth step is finally closing. During closing depends on the state of the home, meaning whether it's already a completed inventory home or a almost complete inventory home. You might want to go through 1 or 2 walkthrough and be sure to bring a realtor so they can help you see some areas that need the seller, the builders to make changes to, and document those changes required by you, the buyer, to the seller, the builder, so you can be sure that you will not close a home that you are not satisfied with. Then a few days before closing, you will have your final walkthrough and you have the opportunity to go through everything to make sure everything is up to your satisfaction. And finally, congratulations, you're an owner of a new construction home. Alright folks, I already did a couple of home tours here in the Austin area. Feel free to check them out here. And if you're looking for a trusted realtor to work with here in the Austin area, be sure to reach out to me. I love to work with you. And finally, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.